The prospering city of Austin, Texas was in a panic when 8 girls were found murdered and the killer to seemingly disappear into thin air. For then just 3 years later, the city of London began getting terrorized by a string of murders. Within the Texas newspapers speculating if the same murderer went across the sea to the old world and continued his murders there. Many speculate that the Austin murderers coined the name Servant Girl Annihilator is in fact the same London murderer with the name Jack the Ripper. Today we'll begin the diary entry of the Servant Girl Annihilator. Let's begin.
He decides upon young, attractive women being his victim.
I guess human or non-human biologics.
Non-human.
I call on you to quit exciting your children when all they're doing is going to quiet rest.
And Sheridan goes in search of the real Bigfoot story.
Possession, control, violence.
What is that noise?
I'm going to tell you in detail why you have been kidnapped, what's going to happen to you.
It could either be in an animal form, or maybe a human form, or half human or half animal.
That man is believed to have been America's first serial killer.
Your only chance to evacuate is to leave with us.
These are people who are seen as a threat. They're going to go on walking around after they've died. They're going to come out of their graves.
Tell me in a sentence who you are. Nobody. I'm nobody.
Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. I am Addison and this is Addison's Dark Diaries. First, I hope everyone had a happy holidays. Today we are doing a story near a town that I am quite familiar with, which is Austin, Texas, the capital city of Texas. It is a case that one would be considered the very first serial killer of the New World America. You know, there's been a lot of different opinions. H.H. Holmes was technically the first serial killer, but due to this one never being found and no one knowing who committed these crimes, this murderer is technically considered the first serial killer of America, and he made his killings in the prospering city of Austin, Texas. So, without further ado, let's begin. So, this story begins in the late 1800s, between 1860s and the 1880s, when Austin grew from 3,500 to 11,000. It became the capital of Texas once it got moved from Houston to Austin, and it had people fleeing from everywhere around the New World due to its growth and its prosperity development, and everyone truly believed that Austin had its best times ahead of them. On December 31st, 1884, Tom Chambers was visiting his brother-in-law when he was awoken by Walter Spencer, the boyfriend to Molly Smith, pounding and pleading for someone to answer. When he opened the door, he found Walter bleeding from his head. He had said he had been attacked in the servants' quarters, and he didn't know where Molly was. Chalmers then accused Spencer of being drunk and exaggerating, and told him to go find a doctor and to leave him alone. Spencer, who's also a black servant, knew better than to argue with Walter, a white man, and decided to go to the doctor to get his wounds treated, and then he went home. In the morning, Molly Smith's body was found in the alley, and her service quarters room was a disaster. And the only evidence in the room was in the corner was a blood-covered axe and a blood-stained handprint on the door. But unfortunately, forensic science had not made use of fingerprints to be able to identify suspects of crimes. With not much evidence or clues going for them, they tried to use bloodhounds, but unfortunately had fallen short. But everything with this murder had Austin detectives confused. And it was due to the fact that it didn't really have a clear motive. The police first suspected Walter Spencer, Molly's boyfriend, but he was known to be a conscientious laborer and very kind. And when they asked Molly's friends, everyone seemingly said that their relationship seemed to be a happy one and that they did not believe that he would have killed Molly. A previous boyfriend of Molly's was arrested for suspicion, but he was later released because there was no evidence against him, and his alibi checked out. Molly's wounds were shocking and gruesome, with the investigation leading absolutely nowhere. But due to no evidence and the motive being unclear, the investigation kind of took a halt, and nothing else really happened for a time, and Austin began to move on to its new year. But then in later March, many servant girls began getting harassed and attacked. Many stories came out to investigators saying that a shadowy figure would come out and attack them and then vanish into thin air. As these harassment attacks continued, another incident happened on March 19th, 1885, when Clara Strand and Christine Martinson, two servant girls from Sweden, were attacked and were seriously injured like many others. They were assaulted in the night, and their assailant shot through the window of their home that hit one of the girls in their spine. At this point, servant girls were fleeing Austin, thinking it was unsafe and thinking there'd be any chance for them getting attacked in the night by a shadowy man that just vanishes into thin air. This also caused racial tensions to rapidly increase, with white citizens blaming the black men. But with the black residents being the main victims, they had pushback. And their belief was that they were being targeted by an unhinged white man. Then another murder occurred on May 6, 1885, with Eliza Shelley. Her body was found next to the bed where her children had slept with her. One of Eliza's sons told the police that he was awakened in the night by a shadowy man, telling him to go back to sleep. He told the police that his mother was killed by a black man, but many others believed the culprit was actually white. The killing sprees seemed to continue, and in later May, Irene Cross, a black cook, was found in her backyard severely injured. She was alive for hours after her attack, and when the investigators found her, they pleaded with her to give them anything that could help them find the culprit. They asked her over and over, "Who did this to you? Who did this to you?" But with her injuries being so severe, she eventually died on her way to hospital and wasn't able to provide any answers. With the killings continuing and servant girls fleeing the country, authorities admitted their inability to find the culprit. Even with hiring detectives from Houston and hiring detectives from Chicago, it seemed like the culprit would just vanish and there was no trace and nothing to find him. More than 400 suspects, mostly black men, were arrested, undergoing very serious examinations, but none could be proven to be the killer. Tensions further increased when Mary Ramey, Gracie Vance, and Orange Washington were found killed in August and September. Mary was only 11 years old and was found with her mother when she was attacked. Similar to the first murder of Molly Smith, most of the women were severely tortured. Some of the women had sharp objects pressed into their eyes and their ears, and with also being most of the women only being black. And the only evidence was always a strange footprint left at the crime of the scenes. But the murderer seemed to change tactics on Christmas Eve. That year, he killed two white women, Susan Hancock and Eula Phillips, and it was only within a few hours of each other. Austin went into full panic mode, with Austin hiring dozens more police officers and husbands carrying firearms and sleeping with firearms to protect their family. With this, the story then made national news. Eula Phillips and Susan Hancock's husbands were both arrested for the murders of their wives, with Moses Hancock being found not guilty. While James Phillips became more of an infidelity scandal than the actual admittance to the crime. But with the scandal, James Phillips was portrayed as an abusive, manipulative drunk, and that he essentially forced Eula into the arms of other men. Phillips' attorneys fought back in saying the assassination of character did not prove that he had killed his wife and that there was no evidence against him. But in a shocking turn of events, the jury found James Phillips guilty. But the sentence was overturned by a judge who ordered a new trial, but then it was eventually overturned by the state. But it seemed just as quickly as the murder started, it just stopped. No one was ever held accountable for the crimes of these women. But in 1888, Jack the Ripper began his killings in London. Papers and texts began drawing connecting lines between what was happening in London and what happened in Austin. With many scholars studying the Servant Girl Annihilator case, many had theories of who the actual killer might have been. With one theory being by a scholar, Skip Hollingsworth. He speculated the murderer was the son-in-law of Dr. James Gibbon, who is the man who ran the Texas lunatic asylum. And right when the son was forced into the lunatic asylum, all the murders had stopped. There's another theory that it was a Malaysian cook that worked near some of the location of the murders, just up and left in 1888 and relocated. The author Shirley Harrison suggested that James Maybrock, a Liverpool cotton merchant, confessed in his journal to being Jack the Ripper. And he was often told to travel between America's towns, and he could have been visiting Austin during the time of the Austin killings, thus making him be capable of being both the Servant Girl Annihilator and Jack the Ripper. There's also another theory where an Austin cook named Nathan Elgin, who was said to have a nubbed foot and a missing toe, and which would then explain the strange footprint. He was shot down by the local Austin police for other crimes, and then right after that the killings stopped. As the Jack the Ripper crimes took the world by hold, the Servant Girl Annihilator simply faded away and got overshadowed by Jack the Ripper. But the two legends, whether the same killer or separate, are still left unknown to this day. And the Servant Girl Annihilator, even with the culprit unknown, is said to be the first ever American serial killer. Whew. So that is a crazy story. And to be honest, I had no idea that this was the first serial killer. I've only heard of H.H. Holmes. So when I heard about this story, I was like, this is crazy. And I don't know. I have no idea if they are the same person or if they're separate. But with nothing else left in this diary entry, how can we go explore ourselves, shall we? Okay guys, so we are back. We are now headed to one of the craziest stories I've ever read about the first known serial killer and where he took the lives of many of 8 different victims. I am in Austin, Texas again, and I am going to take you around to every spot that has been. I don't know who found these places. We found the original names, and then you had to find like a deep dive into finding where the names and the stuff, like the actual name of the streets and stuff are. So our first girl we are going to visit currently right now is Molly Smith. She was the very first victim of the Servant Girl Annihilator. She was attacked with by her axe in her sleep, dragged into the backyard, raped and murdered. Walter Spencer, which was her boyfriend, was attacked and wounded, and this happened December 30th, 1884. We're gonna head over there. Then we're going to jump from victim to victim, giving you a little backstory. You know, I already gave y'all some of the full story, but some of the backstory of each little case. So let's head there now. My camera is always, of course, about to die. So let's go change that, and then we will be there. So you'll see me in 5 seconds. Okay, guys. So I think it is over there. I think. Yeah. So guys, I don't know if you can currently see, but it's behind me is, I'm pretty sure, where the first murder of Molly and where her boyfriend at the time got assaulted and then she got killed. And their area of residence was over in this area. I'm currently sitting, like, it's connected to a Whole Foods. So they made it into a Whole Foods, which I guess, I don't know, but there's like a little park, and then I'll walk that way to show you. Everyone's giving me weird looks, probably because I'm in heels, but we're going to keep going and go to our next place, and then hopefully we'll find all the other ones. It's kind of taking a long time to find each of the places, so we're gonna go to this one, and then we'll jump to the next, and there's 6 places in total, but I think this is it. It's so weird to, like I said, see it in 2023 and see like the vicinity. It's just all buildings and skyscrapers now, and it's just like a city, like a big metropolitan type of city. There's so much traffic, as you can hear, going around. I don't even know if you can hear me, but like I'll show you the place where I assumed, I did research that it's at. If it is not the correct place, let me know. Yeah, let's go to the next place and hopefully see the other place. Okay, we are now at the next location of where Eliza Shelley, 30-year-old woman of 3, got axed in her sleep, This is the next location. It is by a steakhouse. There is nowhere to park, and it is kind of dark outside, so but I'm gonna just try to step out. Yeah, like I said, I think it's by the Snooze, the steakhouse. Once again, there's valet and people just like kind of walking around. I don't know if I can get a clear shot, but I'll show y'all the area where it's located. I'll drop the pin and everything here. But there's not really any places to park. I'm parked in like a bad zone, but I'm hoping to just get y'all a few little clicks, and then yeah, but this is where Lisa Shelley was the second victim in 1885. We're going to is Irene Cross. Irene is 10 minutes away. Those two other locations were only about 5 minutes apart. Yeah, this one is a little bit further, and then it will come right back over here. So he did make like a little jump, which is odd. I've been reading like a lot of like theories and stuff of, you know, the victims and stuff, and all the victims, the only thing that comes is that they were all out of wedlock, but I'm pretty sure he killed a child, so that doesn't really make any sense, but theories are just theories. I would love to hear in the comments or anything of what people and y'all believe happened. If you believe he's Jack the Ripper, I would recommend, if you are going to make this trip and this journey, to come maybe when it's not so busy on like the busy days.
Turn right onto Lavaca Street.
So yeah, but we will keep going and I'll come back to y'all when I get there. Okay, so we have officially made it to where Irene Cross, where her residence was, and she was her life sadly got taken. She was 30 years old. During the time, that street was 302 East Linden Street. I don't know what this building is. It looks like just like an office type of building, but let's get out and look at it. So let me see if I can show y'all. It is this area. So it's Texas Facilities Commission now. It is this big area back here. Like I said, it is a little further away than the other areas were, but it's still in downtown, and it still like has high buildings and everything, but it is a little further out, which is a little different. But yeah, it is not, there's nothing else really around here besides that, so it might have been like in this area, but who knows. It's just a lot different, the feeling. This was Irene Cross. She got murdered with her son. She got killed, and I think with her son sleeping next to her, I believe this was the right story, and he woke up, and then the guy told him, or whoever, the shadow man told him to go back to sleep, and so he did. Then his mom was sadly taken from the world, taken way too soon. Our next one, the next area we were visiting is Mary Ramsey. This was one of the youngest. She was a little girl. Let's keep going, and we'll see what the next place we find. So we are at our next location, which is Mary Ramsey. She is a 11-year-old girl. She was also assaulted and murdered, and her mother was wounded but was able to get away. It once again is not where, it is not a house but a now hotel. It is next to a lot of other hotels. The Residence Inn is where it is now. Next to a hotel. It is in deep downtown. It is, like I said, it is not, everywhere is just, they're all cities now and all just different places, but now this one is, her location was now a hotel. Yeah, it's just buildings on buildings. And that was 10 minutes. It was a straight shot down the road from Irene. Yeah, it was probably 2 miles and down, just literally straight down the street. And then of San Antonio Boulevard or Trinity Street. Then our next is Gracie Vance and Orange, Washington. It is on 2408 Guadalupe Street, and that happened September 28th, 1885. So let's head to that one next. We are at 2408 Guadalupe Street. This is where Orange Washington, 25-year-old, was killed with an axe while sleeping, and Gracie Vance, 20-year-old, struck in the head with an axe while sleeping and then carried to the backyard where she was assaulted and murdered as well. I'm going to believe that it's going to be on this side when we're walking, like, towards. I mean, I don't know. I really have no idea. But there's parking lots, as if you can see those, and like little shops. I'm gonna head out. I will be truthful, I am getting a little nervous because it's getting dark. So I'll walk out there and show you the area over there. Their assault happened in September 28th, 1885. This is starting to get towards, because December was his last final killings. So this is starting to get towards where he's starting to finish, which is so sick. It's starting to kind of stop. Like I said, all these victims and all the people don't see him. They say it's like a shadow man. This is when a lot of the African Americans and servants and people, race tensions were very high. They're packing their stuff up and leaving. They're wearing evil eyes and praying and saying that there is an evil spirit demon that's taking all these people. So let me go show y'all where this is at real quick, and then we'll head to our next location. I believe it is like little shops and like beer gardens and like parking areas. This is kind of like now a pretty lively. We're close to 6th Street. If anyone's local knows, that's like the place that everyone goes and parties, which it's crazy to know that there's a serial killer running rampant, and now it's like a party area where young kids and girls and guys go out and, you know, have good times. But it's crazy to see how times change. But let's head to our next place. And come along. From where we were originally at to here, it was about 15 minutes. Traffic was pretty bad. You might make it in like 8. I think the next places are back kind of deeper in downtown. I'm having a lot of trouble getting in downtown, parking, you know, and getting out and showing y'all everything. But I'll try my best. If I can get out and show y'all more, I will. So tell me what you think. Tell me if you think I'm not in the right locations, if y'all have had different locations, or if y'all need pins or anything. But let's go to the next one. So I am in the location of 41-year-old Susan Hancock. It is, I don't actually know what this building is. This building. It is we're in kind of a different part of Austin. It's like across kind of the river thing. But yeah, so this is the location of where it was. It is a something center. San Jacinto Center. It is a big building, as y'all can see. It is huge. But this, yes, she was a 41-year-old Susan Hancock. She was the one that she got axed in her bedroom and got pulled outside. It's really sad, and it's crazy to see like where things got built on top of. This is, yeah, it's located over here. So yeah, this is the one. There's gonna be one more set, the last location that we'll go to, where we'll explore. So let's go to the other location, which will be Yulia Phillips of 17. Her passing was December 24th, 1885. Her partner, James Phillips Jr., was 24 years old. He was also attacked and wounded. So that will be our final, and then hopefully you can tell me if these are the right places or if I've been completely off, but it's crazy to see just how different it is now. But hopefully it'll give you kind of like proximity and stuff of where everything is and location. Over here to here was 15 minutes, I believe. Some of them are way closer than the others, while other ones are further. And you have to think during that time, all this wasn't here, so it probably was way quicker than what I am having to deal now with traffic and everything. But it's close enough proximity that it, like, Austin being in a despair and panic makes so much sense because it was so close and everybody was like, oh my god, it could be my neighbor, it could be my sister, my family, my mom, my wife, because of how close everything was during that time. So let's head to the next one, and that will close out Servant Girl Murderers and one of the first serial killers in the country. Okay, so I am at the last final location I believe that I will be able to find, which was Yulia Phillips. She was 17 years old, mother of Thomas, 1-year-old, wife of James Phillips Jr. She was struck with an axe while sleeping and carried into the backyard and assaulted and killed as well. So I'm gonna walk around here and show you all here real quick. Okay. It is currently in a little parking garage. I don't even know if I'm allowed to be here, but we're gonna be here for just a sec. So I was not even recording. So here is where the last victim, Yulia, was. It was over here. He pulled a lot of his victims out, and I think to showcase his evil, sick mind. But this is the last place. It is now a parking garage. It's a city. All of them are in Austin. Like I said, it took me 4 minutes for my last one, and now the light's kind of flickering, which is a little creepy. But it is getting night, and I'm, you know, a little more nervous about being around here, but this case has never been solved. They've never found the murderer. He, after this, left, and nothing happened again. Then the town took a turn and just started focusing on Jack the Reaper in London. He went clear across the sea. I personally believe he was the one here, and then he left and went across the sea. So many theories and people saying that he changed his ways. I personally think that he might have thought he'd catch more heat if he did the same way and they get people off this trail and do something different. And they're like, well, he left a note and wanted to be found. Maybe he just thought that it didn't get enough traction here, so he's changed his ways. That is my personal opinion. I don't know. But thank you again so much for watching. I hope this kind of helps of where these areas are located, how far it is in Austin. Like I said, the killer has never been found. Once again, if you have any information, spread the word. If you're local to Austin, you've heard the story and there's stuff I didn't mention or know, make sure to leave it in the comments. So thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. This is Addison Stark Diaries. I will be here once a week to show y'all all the spooky, mysterious stories, paranormal, crime, cults, religion, everything that you think and want to know, supernatural. So yeah, let me know. Thank you for watching. So this will conclude for today, the Texas Murder Annihilator diary entry, unless there's something else we didn't know, because there's more pages to my book. See y'all next time.